What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today on this beautiful, marvelous day. I hope your day was fulfilled with nothing but joy and positivity. Welcome, all my new supporters. Today, we'll be reacting to Europe is way more powerful than you think. Highly, highly recommend it. Thank you so much for all the recommendations. Original video link will be down below in the description. I mean, I already knew Europe has something packing. I don't know why. I mean, specifically the United States be messing with these countries that are just specifically trained better than us,
So
got
there's a
some tougher
narrative
men
going
than
around
us.
MAGA circles right now. You've probably seen it. They look at military spending. The US spends $997 billion.
What's the saying? If you can't beat them, join them. Better choose your battles wisely. Word.
Probably seen it. They look at military spending. The US spends $997 billion on defense, while Europe spends $454
We spend all this money on defense and we still be calling all these other countries to come and help us in the times of need. We be in war. We be out there in Afghanistan. Afghanistan. I don't even know how that is overlooked by the president, bro. We're not even going to jump into that, but seriously, there's been so many, numerous times where we've been out there trying to defend, trying to fight this and that, and we got to call another country. Oh, we got to call. Speed dial. Please come help us. We need support. Why? Because you can have all this money, you can have all this artillery, all this armor, all this equipment, and don't know how to use it. Still, it don't mean you trained, right? It don't mean I guess their war strategies, their training strategics are perfect, because they're not. We get trained by other countries in times of need for war, and we call on those countries for help. Some more training needed. Seriously, we got all this money. We are really strong,
billion.
Strac.
And they conclude that Europe is helpless, that Europe needs America, that Trump can do whatever he wants, and that they, us, will just have to take it. This is the logic of someone who has never thought about why America is powerful in the first place. Yes, the United States has the most powerful military on the planet. Nobody disputes that. But here's the question MAGA never asks. Where does that military come from? How does the United States afford 11 aircraft carrier strike groups and 750 military bases around the world? The answer is the economy. The US military is downstream of American economic dominance. The dollar's status as the world's reserve currency lets America borrow at rates that no other country can match. The centrality of American finance means capital flows into US Treasury bonds from every corner of the globe. That's what funds the Pentagon. That is what makes the aircraft carriers possible. And here's what the tank counters don't understand. That economic dominance isn't a natural fact. It isn't geography. It's not destiny. It's a system America built after World War II and has spent 80 years maintaining.
So is it a good system? Or, I mean, are other countries doing this differently? I understand our tax dollars are definitely going towards our military. 100%. And I be seeing these videos, they be out there having fun, letting the bullets fly. Like, screw it. Why not? But it's literally getting taken out of our checks, their checks as well. And they just be shooting around like for fun. I don't get it. Whose money is it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
system based on one thing above all else: trust. And here is the thing that MAGA hasn't thought about. Europe has real leverage over that trust. We hold 8 trillion in US bonds and equities. They've got a trade bazooka that can shut American companies out of 450 million consumers overnight. We'll get to all of that, trust me. But first, we need to truly appreciate why American power is so uniquely fragile, and why Russia can survive isolation and America can't. The world uses—
it's so bad. And we got a lot of countries invested in our stocks. Now, our stocks have been, I keep doing this to y'all, man. These have been the United States stocks lately. Horrible. A lot of people have pulled out. Man, I got something in my eye. This is gonna bother me. Forgive me, guys. A lot of people have been pulling out the stocks because these companies have been plummeting. Specifically because of politics. Yeah. Specifically because of politics. But what Europe has been doing, they created stocks within their own country. So if I'm not mistaken, people can have bonds within their own country, and have benefits for it as well. But you have to be a citizen of that country. Me, I'm pretty sure I could go ahead and invest within it. Like some people was telling me in the comments, I could go ahead and invest in it, but I'm not gonna get those benefits that the taxpayers of that country, that specific country they are living in within Europe. I'm not gonna get those same perks. But hey, at least I still get the benefits of being a shareholder within your stocks, right? Rather than being over here and now it's like, whoa. There's no surviving in the stock game out here right now. Facts.
And why Russia can survive isolation and America can't.
Crazy.
The world uses dollars because they trust America. They buy treasury bonds because they trust America. They route their transactions through American banks because they trust that the United States will be a reliable, predictable, rule-following anchor of the global system. And here's the cruel irony. The very thing that makes America powerful is the thing that makes it vulnerable. Russia can survive being cut off from the West. They've been preparing for it for a decade. After Crimea, they started building alternative payment systems. They slashed their dollar reserves. They pivoted to China. When the sanctions hit in 2022, it hurt a lot, but their economy was already structured to absorb.
Canada, they got stocks within their own country now, and they actually went to China as well. And that's why, look, Trump is mad. Our government is actually pissed about that. But yeah, Carney doing that same thing. He gonna do business with China. Everybody is fine when isolation is should I say, in the talks. If a country had to experience isolation, everybody would be fine. And it seems like the US wouldn't. And this is like in all aspects, whether it's business, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's gaining money, revenue for their economy, strengthening and building their economy without relying on such people, that I don't, it's like we're screwed in all aspects is what I'm basically trying to say. Anytime I hear about a country has a different plan, they'll be fine without the US, this, that, and how they used to benefit from the US, but now they have transitioned to another country doing different deals, different, trading deals, different partnerships, different things for the economy, like the tax, the stocks, the stocks within that country, pulling out of the US and creating their own bonds within their country. I'm like, wow. It's crazy they didn't think of that before, but we were partners. It was their choice. It's everybody's decision and choice to mess with us and do business and everything. But it seems like everybody's had like multiple options. Like everybody has options. They have true freedom to go work with whoever. We don't. And that's exactly why the US is bullies. And then they get to bullying their allies and stuff when they turn their backs and go work with other people or even have conversations with world leaders from other countries. They don't like that. US has to be in charge, because they know as soon as all these people turn their back, we are screwed. Straight up. Man, this is crazy. I don't want to keep pausing. I'm sorry, guys. It took me some time to get my thoughts out. Seriously. I'm like, I had so much going on.
In 2022, it hurt a lot. But their economy was already structured to absorb the blow. Same with China. They've got SIPs, their alternative to SWIFT. They've got 1 billion domestic customers. They're not fully integrated into the Western financial system, which means they're not fully exposed to it. America is the opposite. America didn't build walls against the global economy. America is the global economy. The US isn't strong despite being interconnected with the world. It's strong because of it. Every thread of global finance runs through New York. Every major transaction touches the dollar. That's not a side effect of American power. That's the source of it. Which means that when America acts like a rogue state, when it threatens to tear up treaties, invade allies, seize territories because the president had a tantrum about a medal, it doesn't just damage its reputation, it shakes the foundations of the very system that makes it powerful. As a Cambridge University paper put it, trust is cumulative and relational, but it can also dissipate when the hegemon is seen as unpredictable or self-serving. Russia gets sanctioned and pivots to China. Their bilateral trade hit $240 billion, with China now supplying 38% of Russian imports. America gets isolated, and what? Pivots to whom? The world is already oriented around America. There's nowhere to pivot to. The network doesn't have a backup hub. So let's talk about what's actually happening. If Trump lands troops in Greenland, and yes, I know that he almost certainly won't, he's Taco Trump after all, but if he did, first, NATO dies. Instantly. The Danish Prime Minister said it explicitly. If the United States chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops, including our NATO. Republican Congressman Michael McCall, Chairman Emeritus of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, said an invasion would turn Article 5 on its very head and, in essence, press a war with NATO itself. He said it would abolish NATO as we know it. And he's right. 75 years of collective security.
But what about... Wait, so no more security. Wow, no more security, no more jobs. There's so much. We can go down the list.
Gone. The alliance that won the Cold War, that kept the peace in Europe, that gave America forward deployed bases across an entire continent, finished because of Greenland. And who benefits? Like really, who benefits? Russia. The Kremlin is already celebrating. Putin's spokesman said Trump would go down in history if he pulled this off. One of Putin's top aides said it proves the transatlantic alliance is over. This is the gift of Vladimir Putin that he could only have dreamt of. But let's talk economics, because this is where the Europe can't hurt us crowd reveals that they haven't thought about this for 5 minutes. The EU and the US have the most integrated economic relationship in the world. Together, they represent 43% of global GDP and nearly 30% of global trade. In 2024, transatlantic trade hit 1.68 trillion euros. That is not a minor trading partner. That's the foundation of American prosperity. European companies directly employ 5 million Americans. 5 million jobs, more than the entire population of Ireland. European investment in the United States stands at $3.2 trillion. 56% of all foreign investment in America. More than half of every foreign dollar invested in the United States comes from Europe. And it flows the other way too, of course it does. Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, they pull somewhere between 160 billion and 300 billion in revenue from European customers every year. The Magnificent Seven tech companies earn between...
Man, that's from one country. That's just from one country.
51% and 63% off their revenue from foreign markets, with Europe as a major share. The European single market is 450 million people with money to spend. That's not a market you walk away from. So what does Europe do when America, if America, invades a NATO ally? We have options. Real options. The EU has something called the Anti-Coercion Instrument. It's never been used. They call it the Trade Bazooka. It allows the EU to shut American companies out of the European single market entirely, restricting trade licenses, blocking access to public procurement, limits on foreign direct investment, sanctions on specific companies and individuals.
Just like that. Like, it's basically like the push up a button, they could dead all of that? Wow.
Is already pushing for it. Macron called Trump's tariffs unacceptable and demanded a united and coordinated response. And if
how you gonna put tariffs on these people when they're the ones generating the revenue for our economy, our government? The other countries keep the United States running. That's why we are so powerful. And so do the citizens of the United States. So do the tourists of the United States, whether it's travelers' dollars or the citizens that live here, tax-paying dollars. Well, even from the travelers, you got to pay taxes. You can't run from that. You got to pay taxes. It's like, man, any way you think about it, we are so reliant on all these other countries. We are screwed when it's just us alone. And didn't I just say that in the beginning of the video, even when we out there on the field? Now, who am I? Because I don't be out there on the field with the guys. I don't know what they go through. And it's not the soldiers' fault. It's not. It's not their fault. Trust me. They're not the ones who come up with these training sequences. It's somebody higher above that's doing all that.
Tariffs unacceptable and demanded a united and coordinated response. And if Europe doesn't go nuclear, they've got a €93 billion retaliatory tariff package sitting on the shelf from last year, specifically designed to hit Republican states. Bourbon, soybeans, aircraft parts that hurt Boeing. Then there's the pharmaceutical angle. The US is the world's largest pharmaceutical importer. Since 2023, pharmaceuticals were the top American import from the EU, $170 billion worth. Europe supplies 25% of all active pharmaceutical ingredients used in American drug manufacturing. 90% of US biotech companies rely on imported components. You want to talk?
Can you imagine if Europe, oh my gosh, if they decided, okay, either we up these prices, you're going to pay these prices. You're going to pay these prices, whatever we stamp on them. I don't care if we shoot it up 60%. Oh, y'all going to pay these prices. Guys, we got to deal with it because of the leader. We have to. This is what happens. You guys are going to pay more. That's more money we're benefiting towards Europe. Well, more money that benefits Europe. Or I don't think Europe is so cruel like that. And when I say Europe, I'm talking about countries within Europe. Everybody has a decision, but it's like an all-in-one, basically. It's like an all-in-one. All of Europe basically is moving together on these decisions. But it's a shame. This is really sad. Man, I'm gonna continue my rant towards the end of the video. I'm sorry to just keep pausing. There's so much I want to say.
Talk about national security of all active pharmaceutical ingredients used in American drug manufacturing. 90% of US biotech companies rely on imported components. You want to talk about national
90, bro. I'm sorry to pause. Okay, what if Europe just decided, well, let's dead it? I don't know. I don't think they're that cruel, but what if that was a decision like, or if you don't want to pay these prices, we don't export this stuff to your country. So your pharmacies are screwed. Find it elsewhere. Ooh. Now who gonna get their medications, their prescriptions, their pills, vitamins, allergy medicine, antibiotics? What? Wow, we are really not thinking this through. Boy. We are yet again waking up and making decisions, but we're forgetting how much of an impact these other countries got and how much power they really got over us as well.
90% of US biotech companies rely on imported components. You want to talk about national security? Try explaining to American cancer patients why their chemotherapy drugs aren't arriving because the president wanted to steal an island.
I just said that shit, bro. This is why I'm not going to pause no more. This is what I'm talking about. Original video link will be down below in the description. I really like his channel. It's our first time reacting to him. I just said that. And why are we are content creators, why are we thinking about this? Why are we thinking about this and have projections towards this? But the leader, though? My leader, this country? Or the United States leader? The person that is leading the United States, why don't they know what's going on? The government, they don't know about this? We just making decisions, huh? I'm like, seriously. Great video. Excellent video. Like, I just said that, bro. Literally, like, they could straight up the prices on us crazy or dead us. Leave us for dead. Like, whoa. Oh, well. We'll find it elsewhere. Woo.
Why their chemotherapy drugs aren't arriving because the president wanted to steal an island the size of Mexico for its minerals. Then there's the financial dimension, the one that could really break things. European countries hold $8 trillion in US bonds and equities, almost twice as much as the rest of the world combined. Deutsche Bank's head of FX research has been explicit. Europe has significant leverage over America in global financial markets. The dollar's status as the world's reserve currency, that exorbitant privilege that lets America borrow cheaply and run massive deficits, depends on trust. Trust that American institutions are stable. Trust that the rule of law means something. Trust that the United States won't seize an allied territory because the president didn't get an award. When that trust erodes, the dollar erodes. A Federal Reserve paper confirms the link. The loss of the US dollar's reserve currency status may thus presage a large decline in the global power of the US. And this economic advantage allows the US to finance a large and powerful military more easily. The dollar already dropped against the euro when Trump announced these tariffs, which of course he's went back on now already because it's Taco Trump. Meanwhile, gold hit a record high. The markets are watching, and they're starting to price in the possibility that the United States might be run by someone who doesn't understand that the system isn't separate from American power. It is American power. Peter Schiff, the economist, put it bluntly: the dollar's reserve currency status allows us to live beyond our means. Soaring debt, tariffs, and military threats jeopardize that status. When it's lost, economic collapse will follow. So yes, the United States could possibly take Greenland militarily. Of course they could. Denmark has about 150 permanent personnel there, and a few hundred European troops doing exercises. It's not a fair fight. But this isn't about the fight. It's about what comes after. NATO collapses. The EU activates economic retaliation. European investment starts flowing out of America.
And you might have some problems with Canada as well. Canada has an airstrip out there. It's kind of old, but they still use it. Canada actually uses Greenland. I be getting tongue twisters. Forgive me, guys. And they do a lot of exercises, a lot of things out there. The U.S. has nothing to do with Greenland, so for us to just come over and intervene, it's like, oh, you're in our space now. That's like, what is going on? Nobody wants that. We're gonna have some problems with Canada as well. Oh yeah.
American companies lose access to 450 million consumers. The dollar wobbles. Borrowing costs rise. The country that spent 75 years building an international order that made it the most powerful nation on earth becomes a pariah. The system that funds the tanks and the carriers and the bases starts to crack. Russia can survive outside the Western system. They've spent a decade building the infrastructure for it. America cannot. America is the Western system, and you can't burn down your own house to spite your own neighbours. The MAGA crowd looks at military spending and thinks, that's power. But military spending is an output. The input is economic centrality, global trust, and the willingness of the world to keep buying American debt and routing their money through American banks. Trump is threatening to torture all of that. He has already done irreparable damage. For an island, the US already has military access to. All because he didn't get a medal. Because no one in power has any fucking balls. This isn't straight.
And it's like we be having so much authority, for real. So much privilege from countries to do this and do that. Being able to go to Greenland and use part of this and that and that. And it's never enough, though. It's like, we're already letting you over here. We're already doing a deal with you, this and that, letting you intervene. You're the U.S. You know, the U.S. always feels like they need part of something when they start doing business with somebody, you know? But nobody does that to us because they know it will be war or be issues. Like, it's just a respect thing, though. It's just loyalty, a partnership. You're not supposed to be after what they got. You can literally get it through business. But it's like he just wants to take it all. Like, it's more of like, a seduction towards the country. The way I'm looking at it, it's more of like a seduction. Trump is basically creating relationships with countries. We don't know if he has it in the back of his head. This country has a lot to offer, this and that, such and such. So you gain the relationship. That's a seduction. You win them over. That's the love, the loyalty. We're not thinking about nothing bad. Well, at least that country. Over the time, you gain relationships. You find their weaknesses. You do deals. You see how you can screw them over. You see how you can push over. Do this, do that. And sooner or later, it comes to a point where it's like, man, the U.S. has full access to this, or they're doing a lot of this or that. And it gets to a point where the U.S. is going to like tell you in broad daylight, we want this from you, or you're not doing enough, or you need to give us this in exchange for that, and screw you over. And you're like, wait a minute, but we're already in a relationship. We're already locked in. We already got that business going. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, wait a minute. That's a total throw off. And that's how you screw a country. Literally. And I feel like that's what he does. It's more of a seduction because all those genuine relationships we had are all screwed. They've all been screwed. Now it seems that he's yet to do it to the UK. He's yet to do it to the UK, specifically to the UK. Now I think we know why because of times in history, but it seems like he has a little more genuine respect towards the UK. Am I lying? Please let me know in the comments. Am I telling the truth or am I lying? There's multiple other countries out there, of course, that he has respect for, but they aren't our allies. They aren't our allies.
No one in power has any fucking balls. This isn't strength. This is the geopolitical equivalent of a billionaire burning his company to the ground because someone didn't clap hard enough at his speech. There are
How ironic he said that.
Burning his company to the ground because someone didn't clap hard enough at his speech. There are, however, two winners if Trump keeps going the way that he's going. Do you know who they are? Russia and China. Do you know who they are? Two winners if he didn't clap hard enough at his speech. There are, however, two winners if Trump keeps going the way that he's going. Do you know who they are? Russia and China.
Well, China is already the clear winner. They took one of our closest allies. Canada, they done took Canada. It's over. Now, not on all aspects. We still do a little bit of business, this and that. It's going to forever be like that. But, man, we're not getting no more of the traveler dollars or none of that. That consistent loyalty from the people out there in Canada. That's over with. Seriously. This was an amazing video. Feel free to check out the original video link down below in the description. Guys, let me know in the comments. Is it actually... Let's see. Is it actually Stephen Woodford or Stephen Woodford? Do not mind the music on the side. This is my other account from years ago. You know what I'm saying? We bumping them old classic musics on this channel. I know y'all don't even care, man. Thank you so much for joining me. This was an amazing video reacting to... Man.
Do you know who they are?
I hate when it like unlikes the video though. You see how it keeps doing that glitch? I don't know. But at least you guys know it's not me being spiteful. It's just a glitch and I just got to keep liking the video. But feel free to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications on. Thank you so much for joining me today to react to Europe is way more powerful than you think. And seriously, I think that goes for any other country out there, literally, because they are the reason why we are so powerful and why we are running how we are today. Mind you, the countries we work with, a lot of them aren't in debt like how the US is. They have different systems and plans that work out to where they don't have to extort, to the people, the locals, the civilians of that country, the citizens. Like, seriously, we all got to pay taxes, but why up rates and do little spiteful things to get the money out of the hardworking people who make minimum wage? I mean, you guys are rich. Politicians, everything. Y'all are rich. Y'all coming in the game rich. But don't be finding no ways to help the country that you are literally representing, that you so-called love and you want to fight for, and you want to literally work for, dedicate your life for, put your life on the line for, literally. You don't want to put none of your money towards it. You want to screw over the people, though. And that's how, man, it's a pyramid chain. It's just a pyramid chain, and it's just crazy. It seriously is. Feel free to share your honest thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today on this beautiful day. Once again, the original video link will be down below in the description, along with my Twitch, my Patreon, Discord, and other YouTube channels. If you would like to subscribe and follow me along on all my other journeys, on all the other channels towards all the other beautiful countries out there in the world. We are on multiple journeys, and I'm loving it, and it's never going to stop. We're going to continuously make more and more and more and more channels. I'm not stopping. I love you all so much. Stay safe, and I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video.